Mr. Absa, how are you?
I'm good, man. How's it?
I'm very well, thanks. Minjani.
Hi, mfukile.
Evukile.
Yarovua.
Na ine nami revu.
Yeah, madego.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Finally, we've been looking forward to having this conversation.
Yeah.
And for those who are listening, if you had some Greek language, but I think I should stop calling it Greek, but that was Tsonga. And then
Mixing
together. And I just heard you saying something like venture.
Yeah.
Which is a mix between vendor and Tsonga.
And Tsonga.
Yeah. It's quite interesting being a mixed person, like coming from mixed family, because we're in South Africa where we have 11 languages.
Yeah.
And 11 languages are studying for different tribes.
Yeah.
And in that also, it's a whole branch.
Yeah.
In one country.
So you have to branch with the other tribes as well.
Yeah, definitely. But the reason why I wanted to have Absa is because Absa is one phenomenal person that I have met in SEO. And I think there is a trend with the people that have been coming here.
Yeah.
It's SEO and stability. Yeah, but how does it feel, man, to be in an institution like, when you're in high school, you go to high school and you go back and teach in the same high school.
Yeah.
But as for you, you are now a lecturer.
Yeah.
How does it feel? How does it feel to move from being a student to now being a lecturer?
Yeah, it's actually a great experience, right? With me is I always look at it from my experience as a student.
Yeah.
Right? And I always make sure that the education that I wanted to get, right, I'm able to give to the guys that I'm lecturing. And from communication to talking about opportunities and life after varsity, so it's actually a great experience for me because you see a lot of room for improvement.
Sure.
So I think that's one thing that tops it for me, man.
So
it's a lot of things I really thought and see, I can work on this, I can improve it, all of that, yeah.
So is the same thing like with you where we're in a class and then like you see yourself in a student? Like does that happen to you? Like you see the student like, this student's just acting the way that I was acting. Do you have those kind of moments?
Well, I never had that question. I think a bit of me shows up here and there. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's what motivates me a lot because I think, I treat everyone. I use myself as a standard to say that I wanted to be taught in this way, and then when I deliver the content, it has to be in that level. So I don't really see a lot of me because I think I'm just giving a lot of me there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But for those who don't know, Absa is one person who is full of energy.
Every day.
Literally, you can just you can be your Red Bull if you don't have energy with that. Every time you're with Absa, man, it's a vibe. I remember the time when we were doing Genesis Unplugged. When I was looking back at the videos, I saw you dancing at the back, and I was like,
and I can't dance, but I'm not gonna stop because I can't.
You wouldn't be intimidated.
No.
Yeah.
I can't even sing, but for the fact that I can't sing doesn't mean I won't sing. Right?
That something like that. Is it something which did you make a personal decision to just say that you want to be energetic, or is just something that you were just like that?
I think I was like that, because I started from high school, I started to realize that I think I was interesting because, I will after school, we'll be working as a group and stuff and we'll be enjoying the vibe and stuff.
Sure.
So this one day we were just walking and I was quiet. I don't know, I was just quiet. And then people were like, Absa, are you okay? There's something wrong. I'm like, what do you mean? Like today you're quiet. What's wrong? So I think it's something that was in me and I think just get triggered when I'm within the right environment.
Yeah.
So it just comes and then it bubbles.
Something that's quite interesting about Absa, it's like I'm here. It's a comparison, but it's not a comparison.
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself when I got to varsity.
Yeah.
I was the totally, I wouldn't say opposite of you because I didn't really know you that much in terms of how you were. I think we only knew each other when probably I was probably exiting and when you were doing your postgrad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but what I like about that is Absa has went forward to doing his masters, and if I'm not mistaken, you're currently a PhD student in UCT.
Yeah.
Right.
That's correct.
I just want to get to know is this what you're thinking from high school, or is it something that probably you just fell in love as you were? Okay, first of all, let me just give a full bio about Absa. Absa, you studied mechanical engineering, right?
Correct.
So you're still sitting across another engineer.
From engineer to engineer.
Yeah, engineer to engineer.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking of another question, but let me just finish it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why did you choose to move forward to do your postgrad? I mean, now you're a PhD student. I mean, like, why did you choose to move forward? I mean, isn't a diploma enough?
Yeah, man. So I think the reasons are deep, right? Like, as I'm growing into research and the academic side of my career, I just realized it's snippets from my childhood are actually forming a picture now, right? It's like I'm joining the dots now, and I think for me, I'm living my purpose because I feel like, you see, God has got a plan for every one of us. It's just like Abraham. He didn't know where he was going. Go to faith.
Yeah.
So when you pray, like, I'm a Christian, right? And I believe in the Christian principles and how God can orchestrate your journey from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So I'm more like Abraham in that sense that he was going to somewhere, and he was not really sure of how the place will look like, but he had a promise. Yeah. So with me, I feel like God has been. I did have interest to go into industry, right? Yeah, but that didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. And then opportunities from the academic side just kept on coming, coming.
Yeah, sure.
With the bursaries as well, they were like, come. And so with me, I think it's because my steps got redirected along the way, and that was meshed with my passion and the things I was very good at. Right. So after finishing my BTech, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna do my masters. At first, I was like, man, let me just do this for now because.
So which means that from diploma you wanted to do your BTech.
Yeah, that was on the cards. Did
you have a reason why you wanted to do your BTech, or it was just a standard? You're like, okay, I'm here, I want to do BTech.
So with BTechs, the job prospects are better in industry if you've got BTech, right, than diploma.
So you're looking for the man.
I'm looking for the man. And the respect, Yeah, so I mean, you talk to guys in industry and then they tell you about how they're treated. And it's very biased because they treat you based on your qualifications, right? So I just wanted to make sure entry level, I've got BTech, I can put my step on, like my step on the door. I can compete like everyone else, right? So that was on the cards. The masters was not really on the cards.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was only after a year and then I realized that, you know what, I'm going to do this. So initially doing masters was like intermediate. That's what most people do it for. Like, okay, I'm just trying to figure out if I can go to industry.
Sure.
But I got to a point when I realized that, you know what, I actually do enjoy doing this. And you can actually have a career in academia, right? Like a full-blown career in academia. And there's also more freedom depending on which path you're taking. You can, because one thing that I love about industry stuff is that you can have your experience and then have your own company.
Sure.
Even in academia, there's a level of freedom you can exercise.
Okay.
So when I realized I can have that, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going the whole boot. Yeah. Just like in the pool.
Just jumping in head
just
first.
Jumping in. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you say freedom, what do you mean? There's a whole lot of freedom because I understand on the engineer, on the industry side of things.
Yeah.
The more competent I am, I can just start a business on my own.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just want to understand, because I mean you are you are 2 steps, actually 3 steps way ahead of me.
Yeah.
But in terms of the freedom, what freedom is there? Because I mean, this can also be encouraging someone who's in high school, or maybe who's actually doing mechanical engineering.
Exactly.
And they want to know, well, what is this man talking about when he says freedom?
Exactly.
So can you just enlighten me on that?
Yeah. So by freedom, I'm referring to, you see, in all of these industries, right? Like when I look at our generation, like the late 90s to maybe 2000, there's currently a shift from moving from 9 to 5 type of a setup, right, into doing something for yourself, or doing something that you're passionate about. So before, like, you know, during those, like the 1920s and all of that, people used to work in the mines, 1960s, for the gold. You know, you understand, and you only had to work from 9 to 5.
Coal mining,
yeah. So there wasn't too much freedom as to what you do in the job, right? But now you can actually describe the kind of work you want to do for the rest of your life.
Okay.
I mean, even Steve Jobs said something along the lines that, I mean, if you have to do something in terms of work, it has to be something that you're passionate about, that when you wake up every day you want to do. So in academia, you can also have that. You can decide the research topics you want to have, and you can actually also collaborate with institutions in the UK, in Germany, and you can actually travel.
Sure.
So you can actually do topics that are of interest to you, right? So by freedom, I'm talking about that. You can actually think of any topic that is interesting, and the money is there. You just need to call it. So with research, right?
Yeah.
Just get an interesting topic.
Sure.
And then the money will come. Yeah.
Okay, I like that you talked about research.
Yeah.
I don't wanna spoil it for it. I think just tell us like the research that you're doing now.
Yeah.
What research topic are you doing? And then if you can as well, just go into detail and go into the
the nitty-gritties
of the topic. And I think you can even tell me like why is that as well?
Yeah. So I'm doing research with focusing on Heartattack simulations. It's very interesting.
Why Heartattack?
Heartattack, yeah. So with people with Heartattack.
Sure.
So with Heartattack globally, in terms of we call them non-communicable diseases, right?
Okay.
So these are the diseases that you get that you don't get. It's not like flu, you know, where you can get it from someone else. It's like TB. These things that most of them we think, or we say that like you inherit them. So yeah, so heart attack is the #1 killer in the whole world.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
This
Globally. So in Africa, it's a different case. We've got TB, and then that disease comes #2, right? So with heart attacks, it's something that is very serious, because it affects almost everyone, and we don't even show what causes it. So I mean, I'm sure from the village, a lot of people die of strokes. So they're under an umbrella called cardiovascular disease. And you said I must go deeper.
Go deeper.
Sure, sometimes.
No worries.
So under cardiovascular disease, you've got diseases that affect the brain. But basically, cardiovascular disease are diseases that affects your blood vessels. Okay. So usually they're caused by blockage, you know. So in one of your veins that supplies blood to any part of your body, if there's a blockage, that part will die. So you've got strokes. That's the blood supply that is cut, that supplies fresh blood to part of your brain. That's why you have stroke, and then one side is numb and the other one is not. Now with heart attack, now is around the heart, you've got a vein that supplies blood to the heart itself. You know, a heart is sort of is a pump that supplies blood to the whole of the body.
Yeah.
But what actually supplies the heart itself, because the heart is like, you know, any organ as well. It's also an organ. It needs blood.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens with heart attacks is that you find, let's say, like the general size of your heart is like the size of your fist.
My fist, okay.
So what happens is that because of what we call plaque formation, it's called actually atherosclerosis. I'm going to give into medical terms. Atherosclerosis is building up of these fatty deposits into the vessel.
So which means gaining weight is not a good thing.
Yeah, so in most cases, so when someone gains weight, then it's associated with an increase in cholesterol. Okay. And then with cholesterol increase, then you've got these fatty deposits inside the blood vessels. And then if this is the size, then you actually have a constricted flow.
Okay.
And then that leads to minor complications. But eventually, if that whole vessel blocks, then that part of the heart tissue dies. Within minutes, that part becomes a bit stiff and what we call non-compliant, meaning it can't expand as it should. It can't give the body the blood it needs. And then you've got other complications, and the end result of that is death. Scary stuff. So my research, right, we focus on the part that dies around the heart. Can't we find therapies to support it and increase its strength? Because usually when it dies, the mechanical strength of that area is weakened, right? So we're developing therapies that aim to sort of strengthen that part. So we develop these gels. It's like a sticky fluid.
I just hold on.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think of a heart as well.
Yeah.
So these therapists, are they doing it externally or internally?
So
is it like an external massage where I have to just rub myself from the outside, then probably the heart attack is gone, or is it something different?
So no, it's actually inside. So what we do is we inject the fluid directly into your heart. We can do it through a vein in your heart, or let's say if you're having an open chest surgery, we can do it through that. But the push now is through what we call minimally invasive surgeries, whereby you can just locate a vein maybe around your neck, and then you put a catheter or a needle, basically, right? And you can guide the needle. You have computer screens to see, okay, where is it going? And go to that area of the heart and then just inject that fluid. That fluid is injected as water. Okay. It's very liquid-like, but as soon as it gets into the heart, it's mixed with another chemical that makes it to be like jelly.
Sure.
And then the idea there is that, you see, immediately after heart attack, what happens is that the part that dies grows in terms of the scar. Right, and then it spreads.
Okay.
So one thing that we have discovered from research into this, we call them biomaterial injected therapies. So we realized that as soon as someone has a heart attack, if we delay for 7 days, we can actually reduce that scar from spreading to a larger area. Because remember, if the bigger the scar, the poorer the performance of the heart.
Okay.
So actually, these therapies are not really restoring the heart to how it used to be, but they're actually
protecting it from becoming more
damaged.
Okay.
Yeah, we're preventing further damage. So you might ask yourself, as a mechanical engineer, how do I fit into all of this?
That was the I was like, okay, so why where are you coming in here?
Yeah, so with mechanical engineering, you can specialize both in fluid mechanics, where you focus on flows, water, and all of that. And you can also focus on structures. And then there are other manufacturing as well, and
so
which
other means
fields.
Also the stuff like 3D printing as
3D printing and all of that. So with my background in mechanical engineering of understanding how fluids behave, and how structures behave under different conditions, then I can be able to sort of solve the problem. So my research topic is into looking at how can we use computers to predict how this gel that we put inside the human can perform. Yeah, and obviously we've got indicators of, if someone has had an attack, we measure stresses around that part of the heart. So usually when the tissue dies, the stresses are increasing. That's how we know there's a problem.
Okay.
Now we found out that when you put the gel, the stresses, they decrease. And you can find that information through these computer models that we do. Okay. So day in, day out, I sit behind a computer. I'm working on these fluid models and structural models to see if we can take the stress level slower.
That's quite interesting. So I have, tell me, how far are we from a mechanical heart?
So
is it even possible?
It's possible but challenging.
Okay.
There is a mechanical heart that was developed in a lab. But remember, when we're talking about the actual human heart, it's actually a very complicated organ. Because it's not only a mechanical from a mechanical point of view, you think of it as a mechanical structure, right? It's pumping, it's got forces and all of that. But if you
collaboration with other stuff,
there's a chemical element of it. Yeah, like when a heart contracts, there's a chemical called calcium that increases, and that tells the heart we need to contract. Like when you're gymming, right? Yeah, so certain hormones are released into your bloodstream that tell the heart, you know what, increase the heart rate because this person needs more blood here and there.
Sure.
So that coordination, we are far from that because you from a mechanical pump, you can do that, but you see these biomechanical signals, you know, are very difficult to incorporate in a mechanical structure. So we are very far from replacing the human heart with something mechanical.
Oh, the reason why I was asking that is because I watch Iron Man. So I see Iron Man has his own thing there. I'm like, okay, so which means probably these guys are very close to the future. So which means that prototype is very far from where we are now.
Yeah, so where we are now, we are more into tissue engineering. So tissue engineering is about growing body parts in the lab.
Okay.
When we're starting with simple ones, the heart is complicated.
Okay.
So at the moment, some research institutions have grown a liver. So a liver is not that complicated. So what they do is they take stem cells. Now the interesting thing about stem cells is that they are the same, like genetically, but when you put them under different conditions, they differentiate into different body parts.
Okay.
That is very interesting because that means if we can change conditions, like in terms of the chemical compositions, the forces that are exposed to these stem cells, we can actually get a lung. A lung was grown and a liver was grown.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are there now trying to grow these body parts to try to replace some of, let's say you've got a lost kidney. The idea is that we can grow your kidney in the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are promising results, but we are still a bit far from actually, giving you the right organ. Then the idea is actually to use your own stem cells because the challenge with it's like heart transplant. If they give you my heart, your own heart is going to reject. Your own body is going to reject my heart because we are not the same. Like our DNA is different. So your body will recognize my heart as a foreign object. Just like the first heart transplant we had in Heartattack.
Okay.
The person didn't live so long. Like it was not even more than 3 months because they suffered from what they call rejection. So your own body rejects that part because it's a foreign thing. Yeah. So if we can use your own maybe stem cells, right, then we can prevent some of those issues. So there are interesting things that are happening from what we call tissue engineering.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now does this now fight against your ethics as a human being? What am I trying to do? So what's your stance on that? Because even me, I'm thinking now, but are we now creating like another set of humans where we can just create a clone, or because it starts with the heart?
Yeah, you're cloning a part. You can clone the whole human.
You can clone some of these things, then you can clone yourself over and over again. So what is your stance on that?
So with me, I don't think, in terms of the ethical side of it, every time, man, I look at the human body. I think my experience as a mechanical engineer, we study systems, right? For an example, a car engine or a jet engine.
Sure.
Those things are complicated, but they don't come close to a human body.
Okay.
So with me, every time I see how far we are from actually replacing the human heart, it makes me appreciate God more, because I'm like, damn, God is super good, man. Like the way He designed the human body is well coordinated.
Sure.
You understand? The involuntary part of it, there are a lot of things that happen in your body now that you're not controlling, but it's just happening. And your body never forgets to digest food. It never forgets to do all of that.
Sure.
So in terms of the ethical side, with me, I believe we have to push science to its boundaries. Sometimes there's this fight, science versus religion.
Okay.
I don't think they should be fighting against each other.
Okay.
Because with science tries to understand and interpret the world. Understand? So with us, religion, from a Christian point of view, I believe everything was created by God.
Okay.
Now, we don't understand everything that God created.
Sure.
So with science, we can study those things and understand. So I don't think there should be conflict. But in terms of cloning humans, I don't think we should be trying to replace humans, because there's this move of making superhumans, extra strong, super soldiers, and all of that.
Are you watching Falcon?
Yeah, those kind of I've seen those kind of things.
Yeah.
But this is where I believe our science can help the human race, is to make us live longer and quality life.
Sure.
People maybe before they used to live longer, but their lives were poor, and in terms of health.
Sure.
So I believe in that if you can make me better by giving me a better kidney, sure. But
why not? Yeah.
There can only be one Musa. Don't replace him. Make him better. Understand? Yeah.
But I think with that now it's a very interesting conversation to have, because it's like you can appreciate science and also saying that the moral side of it is saying, but why should we not improve it too much? Because when you say maybe the cloning time, it's actually going a bit extra according to others. Yes. But someone can say that this is science. That means we can actually do what God can do.
Yeah. Some they call it playing God.
Yeah. So why wouldn't we give them that ability for them to actually exploit that way? Because this is who we are. Because for those who believe in the Big Bang, or for those who believe in the story of Adam and Eve, if we are coming from Lucy the chimpanzee and evolving, right? We have just been evolving that way. So what would you say about where are we going in terms of this evolution of humanity? Because we're just trying to make ourselves better.
Yeah.
So what do you think we're actually going? Because the way that things are panning out, it's a bit scary future to think of.
Yeah.
But it's also a nice thing, because the more technology we have, the more we can solve problems that like what you're working on.
Yeah.
So do you get conflicted with that, and in terms of the future?
Not really. So in terms of conflict, I don't really get conflicted, right? So and the reason being that is we don't have so much time in the world. Like you have like less than 80 years to live. And when we're talking about starting from Big Bang, we're talking about billions of years. And we're talking about billions of, in terms of science, right? That these molecules, they stayed around for billions of years trying to find best conditions. And then up until the amino acids and all of that came, and then they formed those reptiles, and then we evolved into all of that. Sure. So I'm not too worried about that, and I'm not really debating all of that. But where I come in is that you only have 80 years average. That is the lifespan, right? Sure. And then the funny thing is, women live longer than men. Yeah. On average. So I don't know what are we doing as men.
1,000 Ways to Die. I think it has most men.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the show.
No.
1,000 Ways to Die.
Oh yeah, I've seen
Remember?
it. Yeah, I've seen it.
That's what I'm saying. That I think it has more men than women.
Yeah, doing crazy stuff.
Exactly.
So I only have 8 years plus, right? And so this is my philosophy. I think, how I navigate, like you spoke about conflict.
Sure.
I navigate that through my impact. I only have got around 8 years, the best of maybe 60-40 to make impact in the world. And basically my motto is that I want to leave the planet better than I found it for future generations.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of theories about eschatology, when you go to the Christian side of it, of how the world will end. But all of that is not based on what you believe. And I mean, you can believe differently than me, but we know there's only one thing or one version of events that's actually going to take place. And it's only God who knows that. You understand? I mean, it's there in the Bible, but right? We debate about how the world will end.
How it will end.
So I don't bother myself with those conversations. Because it will end one way or the other in a specific way.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So my philosophy is that I'm here for average 8 years. I want to make the impact, leave the world better for the future generations.
Okay.
Like in terms of coal now, we have like less than 200 years of coal. That we use for electricity. So it's not that sustainable. It's like 2 generations left now. So meaning we have to find better solutions. And research now is focusing on alternatives. So that's where I fit in, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But what that's what I like about you, Absa.
Yeah.
As much as someone, when they look at you, they look like this guy looks playful, but you are quite a deep.
You're quite I'm a clown. It's true, but there's a deep side of me as well that is there.
And that's what I appreciate, because now the things that you're talking about, like, no one looks at life that way.
Yeah.
We look at life at either a promise of in life after death. And not necessarily look at the life now.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a very hard to reality. Reality to think that you only have 8 years.
Yeah.
And then if you're in your 20s, man, you still have got some 60 years. That's if you're lucky, because even the life expectancy is actually going down.
Yeah.
So how do you get to think of something like this? Like, you only have 80 years. What's making you think something like that? Because it's not an average person who's thinking about it.
No, we don't think about it.
We don't think about it. I just want to go to my job, go and eat, do all this other stuff. But not everyone is thinking of impact. Not everyone is thinking of, hey man, I need to leave something good for the next generation. Yeah. So I want to understand that deep.
So with me, I think all of us, right, we need to be grateful.
Sure.
One thing we owe to the world is being grateful. Like, we're using technology now to record ourselves. Imagine if we had technology in the time of Moses, Jesus. Imagine seeing the Red Sea. That would be fun.
Sure.
And all of that, right? So with me is that I realized that, I remember when I used to write exams. I can't remember last time I wrote an exam. I make people write exams now.
Yeah, you make people, you set exams.
But I had a quick reality check.
Sure.
Because you asked me, like, how did I get to have this mindset and all of that? I always used to run out of time every time I'm writing a test.
Okay.
And I think that's the reality of life, is that life makes you think you have the time. Just like in the exam, up until there's like 10 minutes left, and then you start sweating. So in terms of resources, from economics, I studied a bit of economics for 2 weeks in high school, and then I changed to engineering. What I learned is that you have got scarce resources.
Okay.
If you live life with that mindset, you realize that actually time is something that you do not have, you do not own, and it's slippery. And it's the race against time.
Okay.
You understand? Like, even now, we're looking for vaccines. It's the race against time.
Sure.
So you don't really have much of it, and it's not a luxury. And you need to respect it. So I'm living my life from that point, saying that, I don't have all the time. Even though sometimes I feel like I'm bored they have all the time. I do not have. And the little that I have, the Bible talks about redeeming the time.
Okay.
Like, make use of every opportunity and do it to the best.
Sure.
Because you might never have that opportunity again. So that's my philosophy, basically.
So the time is the clock is ticking.
Yeah, the clock is ticking every day. The clock is ticking.
So so what do you do to relax then? Because for someone who's I would like to believe that you're always in meetings.
Yeah, always meetings.
In meetings, you're always trying to get things done. I mean, even researching, it takes a lot of time. Not that I know, but
yeah.
I believe that it takes a lot of time. That's why not everyone is doing masters.
It takes a lot of hair, so I can see.
It's taking away all your hair. So.
Yeah, as well.
Yeah. So with that, in terms of balancing, because usually people would always say that there has to be a balance between work and play.
Yeah.
What are you doing in your playtime?
Yeah, so with me, there are two main things I do. I cook. I'm getting good.
I want to say, funny enough, I think I saw your post with nice food. I'm like, okay, Absa is like,
and that was all me.
That was all you.
No copyright infringement.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I sit down a lot in front of a computer when I'm lecturing or doing research. That's what I do. So I use cooking as a getaway.
Okay.
And I make sure I do fancy things. Go to YouTube sometimes and research about something.
Sure.
And also have friends, like who knows how to cook. So we it's like showcase skills. And then they make this.
So you always invite them and.
Yeah, I always invite them, and then I localize their skills. Okay. I can't say I copy. No, I need
you localize.
I localize.
Sure.
So usually, like I also have good friends in Joburg. This one likes cooking. So when I go there, I open his cupboard, see the spices used, ask him, hey man, what do you use this? And then when I come to Cape Town, I invite someone and I charm them. I'm like,
you're like,
yeah, they're like, hey, how do you know how to cook? So cooking for me is one way I relax. And then the other thing is gym. Like I do it every day on a good month. On a good month.
Okay.
But usually like I would say I gym 80% of the time.
Sure.
The 20% is when there are deadlines or other things.
Sure.
But I gym. That's how I relax. And then I watch one show on TV, DSTV. Okay. That helps me relax, and I laugh a lot when I'm watching that show. Okay. I'm afraid to. I'm not sure if I'm gonna mention their name and plug them because they might not.
No, you can always plug. I mean, we're free.
I mean, if I plug them, they must royalties. I need royalties to come. I watch The River. I love The River.
Okay,
the dynamics of the show is sort of real life and all of that.
Sure.
A bit of Netflix here and there. Yeah, and then once in a while, long drives, ice cream. Getaways, ice cream dates, all of that. That's me, man.
It's mixing everything together,
Yeah.
That's quite nice, man, because the balance, I think it's quite important.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think
critical.
Most of the people who actually have got that balance is people like, I think most people that I know that are doing masters, they have that balance.
Yeah.
I think it's like it demands you to have a balance.
Yeah.
But you're not a master, so you're a PhD student. I don't know what I'm always thinking.
The thing is, with me, I'm also a workaholic, right?
Okay.
So, I really need to relax a lot.
Sure.
And I have to, so throughout the years, I've learned that, you need to relax a lot because your brain is like a reset.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it's
critical. So you always reset and then get back to the work again.
Yeah, sometimes I think I used to relax too much, but not anymore. There was a time I would take a long pause, and then when you go back to your work, you're like, hey, where was I again? But now I'm more responsible because I've learned my patterns, and so, okay. But yeah, also with PhD and masters is that, I go to a lot of workshops, right, of how to manage yourself. And they always talk about that. Whatever pursuit you are, I also think it applies to everything in life, whether it's a job, or it's a startup company, whatever interests you have, they say that don't forget to live, Okay. Because sometimes you're goal-oriented. Like, I'm this person. If I'm not if I don't get what I want to get, like in terms of like this is research, and I'm not getting the answers, or the models are not working, like I don't have inner peace.
Yeah.
You understand?
I think
like,
I saw your post when you were very happy. You said it's working.
You saw the numbers going, the code was running.
Yeah, the code was running.
Yo.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when it works, it's like heaven on earth.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work, man, I get frustrated and all of that. I even went to therapy about this,
Okay.
Because therapy is one thing that.
So why are you going on to therapy about that?
Yeah. So with my career, it forms a big part of my life.
Okay.
And I think anything that forms a big chunk of your life, you actually need to take care of it. You need to get a different perspective and opinions around it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I realized that I think I need therapy before I get overwhelmed, because sometimes I get overwhelmed and all of that when I get frustrated when I'm stuck. So with therapy it helped because they gave me like fresh eyes to look at this thing, and then like, you know what, you need to learn to live in the moment and celebrate small victories and all of that.
Okay.
So now I'm more in a better space than before. Another bad experience people have, like, I interact a lot with people from different levels.
Sure.
My master's just took a toll on me, like, understand, like it was very stressful towards the end.
Yeah.
I lost a lot of hair. And I realized I'm not the only one, and I think for me, this might be a message of encouragement that whatever you're going through, you're thinking you're going through it alone. No, you're not the only one.
Okay.
Right? So I've realized that the patterns of my experience during my final stages of my master's are similar to. Recently, I met two people like 2 months ago who went through the exact similar experience, and then that's when I realized.
So, what experience is it? The experience of just getting overwhelmed, or is it different? You can just get into detail.
Let me get into this. It's getting overwhelmed, overdosing yourself with energy drinks. Okay. I did that. That almost killed me. And then,
are you serious?
Yeah, like I drank caffeine.
Okay. So were you working through the night?
Yeah, and then I thought it was a robot, which means I'm not a sickly person. The thing of you think you know yourself.
Yeah.
So I was bragging like, no, I never fainted in my life. I did a lot
I've never been to the doctor before.
I've never been to a doctor.
I
only recently got medical aid this year, and I've been misusing it because I'm like, I want to check. You must check, and my kids will still when they are because I grew up without those privileges.
Sure.
And I've never been admitted to hospital, like slept in the hospital and stuff.
Okay.
So now I overworked myself too much, forgetting that my body is not a machine. Right? So I drank Monster energy drinks. I worked the whole night, and then the following day.
So which means no sleep?
I didn't sleep for 24 hours. Actually, for 48 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I didn't sleep for 48 hours. I was a zombie because I could feel.
Were you hallucinating? I heard that people who don't sleep like for 48 hours they start hallucinating.
I was about to.
Really?
Yeah. So
how was it like?
So the thing is, okay, let me recap. So it was Saturday. Friday, across night, because I was like left with like 2 pages of my thesis. I'm like, I need to get this off my table. I'm done with this master's. I'm getting a distinction.
Sure.
Friday, I didn't sleep. The whole of Saturday, I was a zombie. And then later that Saturday I slept, I remember. And then Sunday I worked through the night towards Monday. Didn't sleep again. Because remember when I slept on that Saturday, I was not well rested. And then that night I used to drink energy drinks to keep me up.
Okay.
That Monday I went to some workshops in town, and then there was filter coffee and all of that.
Okay.
More caffeine.
On the table.
I took filter coffee to stay up because remember I took the 750 mils of Monster energy drink through a whole night.
Oh yes.
Now in the morning I feel sleepy because I want to attend this workshop. I take filter coffee, strong one. And then halfway through the session I went back to campus UCT, and on the way that's when I started feeling heart palpitations and my heart was beating fast, and I felt like I was gonna collapse. But I quickly went to the emergency section in hospital, and then they gave me like some tablets to rescue me and calm me down. Only found that this experience I had, I'm not the only one. There's someone who overdosed with caffeine, and they felt like that. And most people say that when they take caffeine, they feel their heart pump and all of that. And people can actually die from that, you know. So that's one experience like I would like to share with everyone, that don't push yourself too much. You're doing injustice to your body if you don't sleep. If you overwork your body, that is abuse. And you know, any abuse of anything is wrong. And it is sin. You know, too much of anything is sin. So that's my experience, man.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in hindsight, is that the reason why you chose this study in PhD about the heart?
It's coincidence. So when that happened, I was actually already studying what I'm studying.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I went for checkup. I don't have any heart problems.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But since then, I can't take caffeine anymore. If I do, I can take small amounts of caffeine.
Okay.
Like this, I'm driving. Are
you drinking decaf now?
Yeah, decaf.
Is it?
Yeah, for pastas.
How is it there?
It's nice. The thing is with coffee, right? I miss the smell. I love coffee, especially with this engineer. Well, like, you know, engineers pride themselves that the first thing you do as an engineer in the morning is a cup of coffee. Yeah. So I drink. I drink decaf. I only started this year though, but I've been drinking tea all along, and I've been reading on articles on how healthy tea is. I've got a friend who's a lover of coffee, and I'm a lover of tea, so we're comparing. Is tea better or than coffee?
So which one is better? Or is it tea, obviously? Because
well, you're asking me a biased source.
Yeah, but what were the difference that you get between tea and coffee?
Yeah, so tea is mostly so it's a bit healthier. Like in terms of coffee and tea, so tea is the better one, but in terms of difference, it's around 5%. So it's not that much of a difference.
Also, there's not much of a difference.
No.
But I think, does tea have more benefits than coffee?
Yeah, it does. Also with cleaning your blood vessels and then your veins and your heart function. Okay. Especially rooibos, you know. Tea has got a lot of those benefits than coffee.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm a tea advocate.
Tea advocate. Yeah. Talking about tea, I started drinking tea lately because I don't know if your body, you feel like, okay, it's like it's rejecting coffee. My body, body was like, was rejecting coffee. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me just jump into the tea wagon. Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me actually try getting some tea, and I think it makes sense when you drink it.
Yeah, I think also maybe this can prove this scientifically. Your body works more harder to clean the caffeine you take in than it does with tea. Yeah.
So that's why you would say that you prefer that.
I know this from experience. Like, have you ever drank too much caffeine and then you go pee and then you can smell the smell of...
Oh, yes.
But you can't smell that with tea. You can't.
Really?
Yeah, you can't.
I've never observed it. I think
it's personal experiment.
So you've tried both, right?
Yeah, I tried both.
Yeah. I think I got a fright this other time when I actually did that. And I was like, what's happening?
And here's the thing, to know that tea is better. You know, like in this ministry of tea is better. Like,
okay, sure.
With caffeine, you are limited as to the number of cups you can take a day.
Okay.
But with coffee, you are limited. Even with research, it would say like per day less than 4 cups.
Less than 4 cups.
Because if you take more, then there's too much caffeine overdose. With tea, you can go all the way. That's why I love guys who fellowship at ZCC. You're gonna get all types of tea there, doing all types of miracles. You understand? Because these are natural herbs, and your body is made of natural stuff. So you actually need those herbs to clean you up. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So tea.
All the way. Man, I really love this because. You are really teaching us. I think the other thing but I think maybe you might have answered it in hindsight, which I wanted to ask you. What was the hardest part of your masters? Or what is the hardest part in terms of now your masters and the PhD? What is the hardest thing in terms of doing that? What's it doing? Like, okay, this was like challenging for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always think I'm given tough topics. I don't understand why.
Is it?
My master's topic was tough. Like,
okay. So what was it?
Even my supervisor, like, we looked at it, we're like, yeah, okay, no one has ever done this or anything similar to it. So my master's topic, we're focusing on why squid is decreasing. You know, squid, they make calamari out of this. It's a type of fish. It's a weird looking type of fish.
Yeah.
So in the Eastern Cape, between PE and George, there's a spot where they used to fish. Now, over the years, the recreational activities around that area increased and the fishing activities increased. So what happens is the amount of squid that they used to catch declined. So we're not sure, is this decline due to environmental factors, global warming, or is it because people are fishing too much, or is it actually the practices that they use when they're fishing?
Okay.
So when they fish, they used to, when you anchor the boat, you throw in the anchor with a chain.
Sure.
So that chain, we observe that chain sweeps the ocean floor. Okay. Now the squid, when they lay their eggs, they actually lay their eggs on the ocean floor.
Yeah.
So the chain has been seen through videos that is actually scrubbing off the surface of the ocean, meaning that if their eggs is possibly smashing the eggs. Now, the fish with one anchor is not stable. That verse that Jesus is the anchor for us.
Okay.
So the other anchor was not enough. So
sure.
they introduced a new anchor, so a second one to have it more stable.
More stable, yeah.
So
which means more calamari
damage, hypothetically. But you can't say that as an engineer. You have to prove that.
Okay.
So my master's was comparing the one anchor versus the two anchor. But you have to use simulations to do all of that.
Okay.
So that was a hard topic. It came with a lot of money though from the bursary. So that encourages you to work as well. So this part of that is that no one really has done it to that extent, right? And you find that even in the universities, the resources are not there, the consultation is limited. In terms of my PhD, the hardest part is you sort of have to learn things quick. Like, for example, I was talking to John today about when we develop, I do models.
Okay.
And with models is that the ones that are standard with these softwares we use, you have like two materials that you test from the lab, you get two values. Now, with the human heart, it's complicated. It's got different structures that are going different orientations. It's like a cloth, basically. Like how your cloth is woven together.
Oh, yeah, yes.
That's how your heart is woven together. You've got these interlaced threads that are running around for reinforcing your heart. So if you're making a model, a computer model, it has to represent closely to the actual thing in reality. So the toughest part of that, you have to write a code. That's why I encourage more people, like, don't be afraid to do computer coding, because as an engineer, you need that skill. So with me, the tough part of that, I had to teach myself coding to be able to do that part for my PhD.
So how was that?
You saw the code was running.
I saw it was running. I was like,
well, that's part of it, right? The others that I'm developing and all of that.
Sure.
Yeah, and I'm doing this with the help of other guys from UCT, Malawi, some supervisors of mine that are in the States. So I have a lot of consultation I do and all of that. And it's a lesson in life that whatever you want to do, like, someone has done it or something similar. Yeah. So you just need to know where to ask the right questions. So with research, you have to ask.
And then traveling. Have you traveled a lot now that you're doing a PhD?
No, because of lecturing. Yeah, I had to be in the country. I almost went to the UK. I told all my friends, like, guys, our relationship might end. I'm going to upgrade my English bundles. So I haven't traveled a lot. I've attended, though, a lot of conferences where there were like different people from the country and some from outside. which sparks interest for collaboration as well. Because from those conferences, that's where you learn networking to say, okay, after this PhD, where am I going? So right now, I also have interest from the States. They're like, okay, if you're interested after your PhD, you can join us to do something similar that you're doing. So it's actually for me something interesting and encouraging with my PhD, because after that, I get my visa and then
you're
go
going
outside.
you're going to America.
So that is the part of the freedom you have in academia. You can also travel.
So which means that you're planning on getting married this side. You might as well go that side to get.
It looks like it. The steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord. So,
yeah. So are you actually considering to be like relocating, or is it just something which you're gonna be doing just for a time?
Yeah, I'm flexible in terms of my career, right? Like with me, if my passion needs me to be in the UK, I have to be in the UK.
Okay.
So I don't really have a thing to say, what, I'll die in Cape Town or die in South Africa. Right? Yeah. So it will be guided based on my passion. If my passion would land me in the States or Germany.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that means the cards are open, so you're ready to go.
Yeah,
the opportunities there.
I'm about to take off. I can go anywhere now.
Yeah.
So it's also a thing, man. Like you see, wherever you are, you get different experiences. Like I changed schools. Like high school, I changed from grade 11 when I passed to matric. And then the new school, I got a different experience that I never got from the school I was living. I left the school because it wasn't offering me what I wanted, right? And then now, having gone through diploma, BTech, masters at CPUT, I got a certain type of experience that I would not have got, And then now I'm at UCT. I'm getting a complete different type of experience that I couldn't get at CPUT. Now, if I go to UK, I'm most likely to get an experience that I won't get at UCT. Sure. So the idea is not to be stagnant and stay in one place, because there's always room to grow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Mr. Absalom.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming, man. Absalom you can just tell from how he talks. Though he's quite a funny guy, but you can see that he's a man who's driven. And from outside you can't see it, but you have to come inside to see the deep side of.
I think layers. I think.
Yeah. I think that's very nice. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Absalom.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm more than honored.
I've been waiting for this opportunity, man, to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot. I hope I get encouraged to actually do something about masters and actually become we call ourselves fundis. Yeah. So become a fundi as well. I mean, it's a nice. I just want to see like topics. I want to see topics. I'm like, okay, I think I like this topic.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I think I might do it. And funny enough, it's like we engineers, we always fall in love with stuff which has to do with medical.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like most people that I know, there's a mix between engineering and medical. It's like, okay, it's like I wanted to be a doctor at a point.
Yeah. And with me, it's funny because I used to have a dream I was a doctor, and I always wanted to go to UCT and all of these, like that's what I started with that, like what Steve Jobs saying that you must always believe that the dots will somehow connect at the end. I was a time I dreamt of, I was a doctor, I saw myself wearing all of those things, but now I'm going to be a different kind of a doctor. And I'm in the medical field, and my passion is in helping people, right? And helping their lifestyle. So the dream that you had, it might take different forms as you grow and evolve in life.
Sure.
But somehow, somewhere, God will get you there.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Absalom.
Thanks for having me, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Right.